I'm going to move on to a case study here. A real case study with details changed to anonymize it. And this is an invitation to explore the case study, see what comes up for you, and think about which models you might be pulled towards working with. This is not a right or a wrong, it's really a reflective task. I'll talk through it, leave you a moment to look yourself, and we'll move on together. So case study A. Jason's wife, Melissa, died from ovarian cancer 3 years ago. Jason has sought help at this point because he cannot understand why he is continuing to struggle with his loss, given it has been 3 years since her passing. Jason has tried to adapt to a new way of life, but tends to feel low in mood most of the time. He had an expectation that he would have accepted his loss by now and moved on with his life. He continues to work and he sees friends, but he finds himself crying very easily when he is reminded of his wife, and he does all he can do to push past his tears and keep busy and distracted. Jason is seeking support so that he can accept his wife's death and stop getting so upset. I'll leave you a moment, have another read, see what comes up for you. Which model are you pulled to kind of use in working with Jason? So let's think about this a little bit together. There's lots we can take away from this case study, even with this limited information. What we do know is that Jason cannot understand why he's continuing to struggle. Already tell us a little bit around this word kind of expectation, but very much also implies from some of this wording that he expected that he would have accepted his loss by this point, and we know that actually he's just spending time being busy and distracted. So we've almost got this kind of impression of Jason kind of being on the hamster wheel, trying really hard not to grieve, but expecting to kind of be engaging in life. It sounds like he's really tried to kind of move on to a new way of life, but keeps continuing to feel sad. There are many models we could use here with Jason. It's not a right or wrong. I'll use the example of the dual processing model, because what it really sounds like is that Jason kind of shifted here and has spent most of his time here and continues to struggle. There's an implication that there hasn't been a lot of being in loss. Could be wrong. We obviously need to explore that with Jason. It would be possible for us to also explore the circles model as well. But we'd really want to explore this a little bit with Jason. And here are some of the things that we might be able to do if I was to bring up some examples alongside this model. So for Jason, we could normalize the experiences of being loss-oriented, sort of reflect back that it sounds like sometimes he is there, but maybe also is trying not to be. We could illustrate how important it is to be in loss-oriented. Help think about the things he didn't get to say to his wife, if there are any, and help him say them. Encourage peer support, definitely again, to tackle social isolation and be in that loss-oriented mode in a supported way. We'd want to just spend time really creating a narrative of what happened. So rather than just shifting on to moving on, can Jason tell us about his wife's illness and her death? Can we do this as a way of helping him go towards loss rather than away? not just for us to understand, but for him to have some exposure to kind of being with those emotions as well. Explore with Jason the meaning of what is lost, what it's like to have lost his wife, what that has meant for him and his life. Again, getting his reflections on grief, his relationship to it, his response to it. And to create that space for talking about what's not being talked about elsewhere. We don't know how much Jason is talking with friends or family. We're really obviously encouraging, supporting Jason in being in this loss-oriented space. We also want to help him be in restoration in the right way and at the right time. That might mean engaging in new activities, exploring new identities or roles that have come with this new way of life he absolutely wouldn't have chosen but finds himself in, avoiding avoidance, and some of the continuing the bond work I'll come on to talk about.
Notice your mind and what happens when you just stop for a moment. Take 2 minutes just for you. There is nothing else required of you in this moment other than to just breathe. Imagine that you have a balloon in your tummy, and every time you breathe in, the balloon inflates. And each time you breathe out, the balloon deflates.
If it's comfortable, you can snuggle a hand or both hands over your lower belly, about 2 inches below your belly button.
Means let the muscles be soft without a requirement that they become soft. As if you were simply applying heat to sore muscles.
An image of warmth, of kindness. An image that would always have your best interests at heart and that would never let you down. Now bring to mind a current, significant challenge. This might be something that's happening that you don't feel you have the skills to handle. Maybe it's ongoing self-criticism. Maybe it is particular thoughts or feelings that you are struggling with. Take a few moments to reflect on the nature of this challenge